TxStampin, Sharon. So I was in my studio playing with the new designer series papers called Country Club that is in the new mini catalog. I was having some issues and I was determined to figure it out. So I want to share those tips with you. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. I invite you to hit the subscribe button below and then hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video. If I can ever help you with any of your Stampin' Up! Supply needs, I would be honored. You can find my store in the description box below. When I went to the recent On Stage, Stampin' Up! Gave me these designer series papers. And my husband is a golfer, but I hadn't ordered the rest of the suite yet, and I wanted to make him a birthday card. So that's how this all started. This design had golfers, men, women, okay? So I thought, okay, well, I'll just cut this out and I will make him a card, okay? I'll color it. Boy, do I have some tips to tell you about coloring. Since I didn't have the stamp set, I paired it with Sending You Thoughts. There's my happy birthday, which is a celebration item. So when you spend $50 during January through March of 2020, you could pick out this stamp set for free. Free is always great. So I ended up using different color mediums, kind of unusual. Usually if I'm going to start with the Stampin' blends, I stick with the blends. However, when I colored with the blends, my little trees look like blobs. You couldn't tell what they were, okay? All right, so what do? So then I colored with my aqua painter, just a little bit of water. I didn't do much. However, when I came back the next day, can you see how my cardstock buckled? Okay, the designer series papers is super thin, and I was like, dadgummit, what am I gonna do? All right, let's see what we've got. So I cut out my image from the designer series paper, and like I said, it's thin. It is not watercolored paper, but like I said, I struggled with coloring it with markers or coloring the trees with markers or blends because they just look like blobs. So I have a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock that is the same size as this. Now, I'm not able to give you measurements because it just depends on how you cut out your image. I know that I will tell you this, that's a big tip. If you don't cut underneath the lady close enough, you will cut the tips off of the trees. So when I first started off saying, I don't know, this is 3 inches or 2 3/4, whatever, I nipped off the top of my tree. Okay, so think about that when you're cutting this piece of paper apart. Then I have a piece of crushed curry that is my mat. And in this case, it is 4 inches by 3 1/4 because what I did is I measured this and then I gave it 1/4 inch all the way around. So no matter what size you cut out yours, just allow 1/4 inch for the mat, okay? Then I have a piece of the designer series papers, which happens to be the back side of one of those images. So be careful with that. If you start cutting all this apart, you won't be able to make the same card I'm making, but that's okay because I'm going to share lots of ideas with you using the other patterns in that pack. And then I just have 2 strips of cardstock that I'll use for my sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and attach this since it's laying there. Always making sure that my card opens the right way. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Right marker and I'm just going to be doing my watercoloring using a clear block. I could use the lid from my stamp pad, but I find this easier and then I don't have to clean up this as often. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of water from my aqua painter. Kind of tap it off. And then I'm just going to start coloring. I am not squeezing that bulb. Do not squeeze the bulb. You do not want any more water than you already have on your brush. Now, the thing that I thought was so fun is that I can go back and add some darker areas so that it looks more watercolored and not just colored. We're going to go ahead and color the grass. Now, I'm not a golfer. At first I thought that was water, and I was like, no, it's a path, right? It's a path, like where the golf cart goes. But on my first card, I colored the whole thing green because I didn't realize it was the actual path. But we're just going to color it all green for the sake of the video. And I'm sure that if you're a golfer, you will let me know that I probably did it wrong. Because to me, the path was too skinny. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. We're just going to color it all green. There we go. All done. So you always want to wipe off the tip of your brush and clean off the block. Now, I'll tell you too, when I did this, I even took, when I made my first cards, I took a bunch of blocks and put it on there to try to flatten out the paper. So I thought I had it figured out. But like I said, I came back in the next day and my paper was warped. All right. So we're going to go ahead and color our guy. So we're going to go ahead and color his clothes and finish up the coloring. By the way, that was Poppy Parade. Now I'm using Night of Navy. And I'll tell you, I didn't know what that was. It's his shoe where his foot is coming up off the ground. I had to study that one. I'm gonna go ahead and color his hat blue too. A couple of mine I did funky colors because to me that's what golfers do, is they wear crazy clothes, crazy colors. And then I'm just gonna use the ivory for his skin tones. I'm stamping my sentiment with garden green. Sorry, I'm trying not to get my head in the camera, but I bet I just did. It's so hard, guys. I promise. I don't mean to do that. All right, so can you see my paper already warping? I'm going to use the triple banner punch. And the way I like to do it, just so that everything matches up, is just cut off the excess on this side. I can't wait to share with you my trick because I was pretty proud and it did work. I will show you how it worked. All right, you ready for my trick? Remember that piece of Whisper White Thick that I told you about? We're going to take some liquid glue. This is a great tip for you. I'm telling you, I made his birthday card and then I made some other cards and they were all warped. I fixed those and I will point out to you how I fixed those because they were already attached. I'm just going to smooth this out so we don't have any ridges. So basically what I've done is I have turned this into a thicker piece of paper. Mat that on our crushed curry. Now, remember when I took my paper towel a while ago and did that? You see that? I got a smudge. So we're going to hide the smudge. I'm the queen of boo-boos, and I will show you how to fix that. I've added dimensionals to the back, and I've already removed the backings. Put that in the center. And before, I was going to put, you know, and this will actually work out better because I would hide his legs if I did that. So we're going to hide my boo-boo with our sentiment, okay? Putting snail on one end and a dimensional on the other. There, I hid my boo-boo, okay? Now, let me show you my other cards. So this is another one I did. I always need masculine birthdays. I don't know if you can tell, but see how the paper kind of warped right there at the bottom? And there was no way for me to fix it, all right? This one did the same thing. And you can see a little bulge right there. But right here in the corner, it was really warped. So I put my sentiment over it. So when I said, I was like, how do I fix this? And this is the card that I did using this method of adding a piece of the Whisper White Thick. So whether you have golfers in the family or not, golfers or not, I mean, this paper is perfect for masculine cards. So even if you're like me and you don't have the golf stamp set, you're like, well, nobody in our family is really a golfer or whatever. Get this paper because then you can do other things with it. And, you know, even if they're not a golfer, you know, to say congratulations for somebody getting a new job or, you know, a raise at work or whatever, this is really great papers. I hope that my tip helps you not waste paper like I was doing. And all I can say is happy stamping, y'all.